The order too, I know.
I got the chairs on.
No.
Are these things on there that?
Yes. I wanted to thank everyone for coming tonight to the Town of Webb regular board meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for coming. Please sign in the attendance sheet. Please turn off your cell phones. Next regular meeting will be on January 14th at 2025 at 7 p.m. January audit of claims meeting will be held on January 6th at 5:30 p.m. Organizational meeting will be held on January 2nd at 5 p.m. Executive session may occur this evening if deemed necessary. We have some correspondence. The board received a letter of resignation from Thomas Furlong, effective January 5th, 2025. Jamie will be going to work for Inlet, and we thank him for his service. Okay, we have a motion to transfer the following. $500 from Public Works Miscellaneous to Public Works Phone. $17,589.02 from contingency to unallocated insurance. $5,000 from contingency to legal printing. $179.99 from police miscellaneous to snow equipment. $1,299.93 from BTI PS line to the BTI contractual line. $1,000 from garage miscellaneous to garage telephone. $2,461.46 from garage miscellaneous to garage remediation. $375,000 from the fund balance to street lighting. $8,000 from contingency to HASCA contractual. $7,000 from contingency to the program of aging. $151,661.22 from the fund balance to Macaulay Mountain equipment. $198,108.72 from building capital reserve to Macaulay Mountain deck. $940,000 from the fund balance to Macaulay Mountain chairlift and magic carpet. $22,735.36 from short-term rental revenues to zoning short-term rental. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
No, not this time, no.
Nope.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? End of the year transaction, a motion that the board authorizes the supervisor to make any end of the year transactions to pay for 2024 bills. A record of necessary transfers will be provided to the board for review. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Ed, second.
I'll second it.
Mike? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? CSEA negotiations. Negotiations with the CSEA collective bargaining unit are done and a proposed agreement has been reached. The terms of the agreement have been reviewed by the board, and a copy of the proposed agreement has been provided to each board member. Do I have a motion that the board accept the terms as outlined in the proposed agreement with CSEA and authorize a supervisor to execute a 3-year contract? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I recuse myself from that vote, please.
Okay, opposed? Macaulay Mountain Chalet rental fees. The town board and Macaulay Mountain manager Kevin Kress have looked into increasing the rent at Macaulay Mountain Chalet. Do we have a motion to adopt the new fees as follows, effective 1/1/2025? A full day, 8 hours, $1,200. A half day, 4 hours, $600. 3 consecutive days of a rental, noon to noon, $2,000. Nonprofit, $100 per day, 8-hour use. Large event for profit, full day, $1,200. And a large for-profit, 3 consecutive days, noon to noon, $3,500. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we change those fees.
Second?
I'll second it.
Ben? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'd like to just comment on that. A lot of those fees aren't changed drastically. We just kind of cleaned up some of the wording on that. But we were pretty low on a lot of the fees for different things that we were doing, and so.
Thank you.
Kyle and I took a little bit of time with Kevin and went through all that, and we feel that it's pretty fair.
Thank you.
Cleaning? Is that included in that?
In the contracts, Nancy, you probably know a little bit the contract. Most of the contracts, I believe, they have to clean it.
They have to clean it.
That's part of that.
I'd like a motion to go into executive session, discuss the possible appointment of a new chief of police.
I'll make the motion.
Ben, second.
I'll second it.
Tom? All in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna go in the other room, you guys can stay here. We are back from executive session, no action was taken, we had discussion only. Do I have a motion to appoint Jason Mulcahy as temporary Town of Webb Chief of Police, 12/10/24, permanent appointment pending passing the Herkimer County Civil Service exam and meeting the residency requirements? Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Ben, second.
I'll second it.
Tom? Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
All right.
Supervisor Baker,
Aye,
4 ayes.
thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about them?
A retired state police, or not retired, excuse me. He works out of Webster, New York, for the state police.
Does he live in the town of Webb?
Pardon me?
Does he live in the town of Webb?
No, he'll be meeting the residency requirement, and if he doesn't, then he won't get the job.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie.
You're welcome. All right, what do we have tonight? Councilman Hannah?
I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. We're still making good progress about Macaulay. Monday, the cable was spliced for the new lift. It was cool to be able to see the start and see the finish of that happen. It is definitely an art to be able to do that. I want to thank everyone that was involved in the process, from Jason and his crew, Brian the splicer, the Macaulay Mountain crew, and all the volunteers that helped. It was nice seeing all the people up there, and the team effort that went into it. I think Brian told me there's 21 people total up there for the job, so it was good. I'd like to thank all the candidates that applied for the chief of police position. All the interviews were great, and made it a tough decision to make for us. With having a good start to the 24-25 snowmobile season and having a good safety meeting at the library with snowmobile advocates, I just want to, everyone, please ride safe and responsible. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. That's all I got.
Thank you. Tom?
Just wanna touch on a couple things from last meeting I spoke about, that far too long letter, but a couple people have reached out for the whole mental health aspect I was trying to touch on, and I hope to dive a little more into that, to get some more information on what possible options we may have. It's been busy since that meeting. The pro housing designation that I've been speaking of and working on and trying to get us on board with it, which I think we all have, seems to have been put in and accepted. So that designation, I think Bonnie has some more stuff on that. And then that zoning update that we've been working so hard on seems to be in a place to be set for public hearing. It hasn't been set yet or anything like that, but we hope we get that soon out there. And just to touch on the chief of police interviews, I mean, really just outstanding candidates. I mean, every single one of them was fit for the position. And then we just ended up at where we were at. And I also want to mention the police that have resigned recently. I really want to thank them for their time here, and I really hope that we can clean this stuff up at some point. And I hope to move forward on making that happen. And that's all I have right now.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to, last meeting I mentioned the Eagle Bay sign, and a very nice gentleman sitting on the front there, his name was Brian Berg, he was from North Carolina. He has a place up in Eagle Bay, and he dug the sign up and called me up and said, hey, I got this sign, you wanna help me get it up and running? So I went up, and cripe, it wasn't within a week, the sign was up, so I wanna thank him for what he did, and it's back up. I also would like to say that Snowdeal's coming up this weekend, so I guess be prepared for that. And Christmas on Main Street was a very successful event as far as I was concerned, so hopefully everybody enjoyed that time. And I would also like to thank Officer Furlong for his time working for the town of Webb. Hopefully he does well in the future. I guess that's all. Bonnie, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I have some good news and some bad news. Tommy, you guys want first? Tommy said the good news, Governor Hochul sent us a letter stating that we successfully completed and are now certified as a pro-housing community. So that'll help us get some more grant money. And then the bad news is we were not selected for the New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Enhanced Grant. That was the second round of the WIA. We were denied that. I got that letter yesterday. So hopefully, being a pro-housing community, we'll get that enhanced grant next time. That should help us. But I called over to Andy Getty's office to thank their office for their help, and he told me that Nicole Ross did 80% of that work over there.
Yeah, they really.
So you should reach
Quick,
out to
too.
her, tell her thank you. I think that's all I have. Nancy?
I think Corey said in the meeting about the wastewater treatment plant, he said that WIA grant, if you keep plugging away, sometimes it does come around. You know,
There's another round we
might be able to.
can hit next.
I have two things. The holiday garbage schedule. There'll be no change Christmas. But the transfer station will be closed on Christmas Day. But we're going to have it open on Thursday, December 26th, to compensate for not being there on Wednesday, 8 to noon, 1 to 4. New Year's week, same thing, no change in garbage, but the transfer station will be open on New Year's Day, 8 to noon, 1 to 4. And then I received a letter right before the meeting from John Khalil. It says, Dear Town of Webb, on behalf of the ADK Snowmobile Advocates, I'd like to thank Councilman Hannah for attending our first Towns of Webb and Inlet Snowmobile Safety Meeting on November 21st. I'd also like to thank the Town of Webb Supervisor Baker for reaching out to me in support of the event despite a prior commitment. The event was a success and was well attended by residents, business owners, as well as representatives of both communities. In addition, There were also representatives from the Town of Webb Police Department, Old Forge Fire Department, and Old Forge Volunteer Ambulance Corps who attended, in hopes of finding ways to strengthen their relationship with the snowmobile community. As a result, there was a tremendous amount of feedback that was provided and ideas exchanged with the goal of making snowmobiles safer in the community, all of which I plan to discuss with both Councilmember Hannah and Ross in greater detail in the future. Since I won't be able to attend tonight's board meeting, I'd like to thank each of the departments and those Town of Webb personnel who have worked hard to prepare for the snowmobile season. The efforts of the Town of Webb are greatly appreciated, and with a little more help from Mother Nature, the upcoming snowmobile season appears to be off to a great start. On a more personal note, I had the opportunity to ride the trails yesterday and converse with many snowmobilers. Despite the early afternoon rain, no one seemed disappointed, and an enjoyable day was had by all. Think snow. Best regards, John Khalil, ADK Snowmobile Advocates. That's it.
Thank you. Now we go to the members of the assembly. Anyone have anything? Yes.
Linda Wheel. I just have a really quick community announcement. Finalizing a new senior lunch program. It's a delivered lunch for seniors in Webb and Inlet. For people who are homebound, disabled, or 60 and older. It includes a deli sandwich, fresh fruit, and probably a single serving of ready-to-heat soup. There's a lot of discussion about granola bars or Little Debbie. I know there's community partners in the room who are filling in and helping, and there's a lot of organizations involved in intake is going to be through the library. People can call the library and a friendly person will fill in all the lines. Make sure that you understand you're getting a lunch on Tuesdays every Tuesday, and no financial or eligibility requirements. It was a group effort, and Living ADK was successful in securing that grant from the Community Foundation. So we have some funding, and it looks like we'll start in mid-January.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very
For all
much.
you do, and everybody over at the library, thank you.
Yes.
Bonnie, I got a couple questions on your new police chief here. Is he still active with the state police?
Yes.
Is he planning on retiring?
Yes.
Okay, when is his start date, and will he have to get a waiver?
Yes, he'll have to get a waiver, I believe, and his start date is February 1.
Okay. All right, that's all I need to know.
Thank you. Yes.
Does he plan on owning a home here or renting a home?
I did not ask him. He said he was going to reside here. I don't know if he's going to own or rent.
I just, as a community member, lived here my whole life, I really think that a police chief needs to live here, not rent here, because then you can't guarantee that they're here when, I don't know, there's an emergency. That's kind of ridiculous. Also curious if you guys have any plans of settling the police contract?
That's going to mediation next.
When's that?
We're waiting for a mediation appointment.
Sure.
Thank you. Next. Anyone else? Yes.
I'd like to wish everyone from the Board of Fire Commissioners a very Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. I would like to assure everyone that through the holiday season, that the members of the Big Moose, Eagle Bay, and Old Forge Fire Departments in the Town of Webb Fire District will be open for business 24/7 and ready to respond at a second's notice. There's a passage that I remember from the Bible back when I went to church school many years ago, and it goes, if I can remember it correctly, it goes, the Lord looked on his disciples and he said, "Who will go for us? Who shall I send?" And I responded, "Here I am, Lord, send me." I think that states the volunteers' opinion of their service to the community. And once again, I'd like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a safe and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Jamie, very much. Yes.
Bonnie, you just said, do you mean the police's contract is going to arbitration?
Yes.
What you meant to say?
It's in our, yes.
Arbitration. Okay, my only comment to that is, it's pretty sad that a 5-member board could not come up with a contract with our police department. I believe it's only ever gone to arbitration once before. That's
Right.
pretty sad, you guys. It really is.
Thank you,
Shame on you.
thank you. Next. Yes, Dan?
As a man, a few words. I've got some notes to read from. As this year comes to a close, I'd like to recognize the town board for all their efforts in our community. I'd like to recognize especially the town department heads, Casey Crowfoot for keeping the highways safe, and Scott Gaffney for the DPW, garbage, water, sewer, for their job and their employees. Stevie Eustavinas for all his efforts at Macaulay Mountain. Chuck Betts for his snowmobile, everything he does over there. Hannah Wheaton for the program, the rec program, especially Tom Greco, who's promoted this, has made that rec center usable for a lot of people. A lot of people enjoy that, rather than just 2 or 3 events that were held over there a year. The grant that he got for the floor, and he really stepped up for this. Mike Farmer for the job he does in the publicity department and his staff. Brendan Riolo, Sergeant Brendan Riolo, who's basically been running the police department for a couple years because Chief Johnston was out on medical leave and stuff, and after his retirement, Sergeant Riolo has been really stepped up and done a great job. Chief Ron Johnston for all his years. And I'd like to recognize all the town employees for their hard work and dedication to the town of Webb and its residents and visitors. I mean, we go from, I think the population of town, the whole town of Webb's like 1,600 people. We go to 30, 40,000 in the summer. So we're not like a normal small town community. And that being said, we run a big budget. We're just general highway budgets over $10 million that you guys manage this budget. Plus, on top of that, your district, sewer district, water district, ambulance district, which is newly formed, and I thank you for that as a 62-year-old participating in the ambulance corps and making progress there. Also, that being said, I think it's come to my attention, having served there for 20 years, I haven't been there since '08, but things have become much more complicated since then. You guys do the best you can up there, but I think that we're running a big business here. And I think it's time for the board to consider hiring a town manager. Someone that's skilled and educated and skilled in business management, personnel management, finance, at a competitive salary. I think doing that would more than pay for itself and make our community much better. Because I know as an owner of 3 successful businesses, past owner, who was actually probably one of the largest year-round employers in the town, I couldn't run my business by myself. I had to ask experts to do this, and that's putting a lot of load on you guys. And a lot of towns have gone to this and done this. And you would save money through purchasing, through creative accounting, all these new rules and regulations the government's instituted. You know, you 3 guys, you come here, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a month, you know, you can't keep up on that. And if you don't, you're in trouble. Fines and all this stuff, especially from the state of New York and the feds. So I think it's time to consider that. I think we've got to get somebody as a manager that's open-minded. He's not controlled by politics. One person comes in and complains about this, and another, you know, and that's hard not to do as elected officials. But he would be under be hired by the town board, answerable to the town board. And I researched today whether it's doable or not. It certainly is, under state law. And I went on and I researched and I copied the town manager requirements and duties for the town manager of the town of Canandaigua. And I've got a copy for all of you to read, to reconsider, to consider, and to hopefully move ahead on this. I think we have to do that. We're a big business here. And it's become way too much for you dedicated people to handle, to do the top-notch job. It's just impossible. So I'd like to pass this out to each one of you, look at it, start the movement on it, and go from there. It tells what the duties are, it tells who does the appointments, that they answer to the town board. So you're not giving up your power here. I know that's a concern some people would have. I think if I was a board member, I'd say, well, you know, I'm not going to give up what I was elected to do. But it's time to move on. And many towns have done this. So I'm going to pass this out. And like I said, it's from the town of Canandaigua.
Isn't that a city, Dan?
That's a town. That's what they do. That's their procedure. That's their job description. Nancy, there's one for you.
Thank you.
Yep.
We'll look into that.
Yeah. I implore you. I think that,
Well, I don't disagree, Dan, because I can tell you that the hours, I'm just gonna talk personally, the hours that I spend meetings and running over to every place and trying to put all this in your head and not be here every day, 8 hours a day, it's a really lot.
oh, I know.
Extremely a lot, you know, you should know.
It's not 2 or 3 meetings a week. It's laying in bed nights worrying about this stuff and so on. I mean, I don't like to brag, but I had 20 years I did that. And I know how it was, and boy, when I got out of office, I was relieved. I was really relieved. And as of the end of this month, I'm getting out of office as Herkimer County Coroner for the town of Webb after 30 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I won't, look forward to picking up snowmobilers wrapped around trees and stuff this year. Hopefully we have a safe season.
We aren't gonna have any of
So,
that.
anyway.
Thank you,
Thanks,
all
Dan.
for your efforts this year, and hopefully you settle your police contract sooner rather than later. We're
Yep.
down to, what, 2 officers now? You know, 7. Public safety issue, you know, something's gotta be done.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Jay Duke. This is my wife Marcella. And we are temporary residents 4 months a year. This is our second year we've spent in Old Forge. We're renting a place out on South Shore Road, about 2 miles out. I know you folks have been working with the 80K snowmobile advocates, and I'd just like to go on record as, I know you've been talking about a lot of stuff. I haven't been here, so I gotta apologize if any of this is beating a dead horse, but I would just like to see if there was some way and some time we can figure out a way to shelf an area to get in on South Shore Road, because Monday morning, there was great snow and I couldn't get in. The road was bare and it was pushed so far off to their side you couldn't get up on any snow, so it was, I would have had to trailer in 2 miles just to go ride on Monday, and it wasn't worth the effort since I'm gonna be here for 4 months, but, you know, it's frustrating to see that. I know I just saw a video up on Inlet where it looks like those folks or whoever was plowing up there had a wing plow that was cutting the side, and last year, I think it was, on President's Day weekend at the very end of the season, there was a good snow and there was a shelf cut in. So I don't know all the particulars about the equipment and whether you have it or who does it. It hasn't got the contracts, but it sure would be a nice thing if we could get that work done. So anything you can do would be appreciated. For
Okay, we can look into
new
that.
folks coming into town to support your economy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Do we have a motion to pay the audit of claims?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank everyone for coming very much, appreciate it.
Thank you all for what you do.
Thanks, Danny.
So here's that.